All right, continuing with this next segment. This next stage is thinning it. Yeah, I did some preliminary thinning on there, but right now I've got to do some serious thinning instead of goofing around thinning. Yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to need a more abrading. And I'm going to need to stop explaining for a second. I'm going to need to stop explaining for more than a second. I'm just going to remove the big flakes I need to remove. In an opportunistic way. And I'll just let you watch. Okay, so the decision-making process during that reduction was mainly just opportunistic strikes. The decision-making was opportunistic decision-making. Okay, where's a good opportunity? Where's a good opportunity? And how do you know what good is? I think you know. And I don't always take the highest probability for success. I don't always take the route that leads to the highest opportunity for success. I might do a little bit out of order. There may be a better order in which to do these flakes. In hindsight, I could probably tell you something would have been better. As far as order, there are ways to judge whether you're doing it in an efficient order of flake removal. Yes. But if you think about that during the stage of reduction, at least for me, it messes things up because it's just too much thinking. Even my brain gets tired and gets sick of it. Well, maybe yours doesn't, but mine does. I get sick of thinking about, okay, which is better? I second guess myself. I just do it opportunistically. And if it's not that great of a decision, oh well. Time is money. Yeah. So to speak. You're wasting your time thinking too much. I waste my time if I think too much. That's I don't know how else to explain the mindset. The mindset is a lot of it is not to have a mindset. Just do it. Just look for opportunities. I'm talking and I'm looking for opportunities. It's not that big a deal. I can see where opportunities are because I've napped hundreds and hundreds of pieces and hundreds of sessions. I know where I can take a flake. I can take a flake just about anywhere, but what I mean is I know where I can take a flake that would be good in that area. There's no deeper thought than just, that's kind of good. Yeah, that'll work. It's very basic. It might seem, when you analyze the options, it may seem extremely complicated, and it is, but when you're actually doing it, it's not that complicated. And it does lead to mistakes because you don't consider all the options. Yeah, it will lead to mistakes. But a lot of times you can just live with those mistakes. That's the mindset. It's really not that complicated when you're doing it. When you're analyzing it, it's extremely complicated. But when you're actually doing it, you're just looking for opportunities. Some of them work, or you don't know if it actually worked or you got lucky. But a lot of times you can learn from the strike and say, okay, I think I know how much force I need. You can learn from these strikes. Just gotta be careful because sometimes it is lucky, and you shouldn't rest too much learning on the lucky ones. How do I know which ones are lucky? Only after thousands and thousands of hits. If I go, whoa, I didn't know I was going to do that, that's probably luck. So is it good for a barbed and tang? It's actually a little bit large for a barbed and tang. Barbed and tanged. Should I bring it out another little? Should I make one out of a smaller piece? A barbed and tanged arrowhead out of a smaller piece? Like a flake? I should. A lot of these barbed and tanged arrowheads are small. I can make one out of this. Yeah, okay, so I'll put this aside. This is now ready for the thinning. The final thinning. If you wanted to. Yeah. Let's try this little piece. Make a small barbed and tanged. I don't want to ruin that big piece and, you know, ruin it by reducing a lot of it so it looks like a proper point in the archaeological record. So I'll just put it aside. What's the decision-making process here? It's, you know, it's just, you know, there's individual decisions on where to remove that flake. The overall goal is to make a triangle first. If you know what a barbed and tanged looks like. Most of them are basically triangular. So that's what I'm doing. I'm both triangularizing it and decortexerizing it. And the less I get hung up on details, the better. For me. You know, to keep these things in mind. The things to keep in mind are get the worst out of the way first. Don't break it. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't expect it's going to work miracles. Don't shoot for miracles. Play it safe, and then if it's not working, then you have to be riskier, yes. And that's it. Just I take opportunities. And eventually get it shaped and thinned down. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I fail. But it's best, if you're going to fail quickly so you don't spend all day doing a lot of analyzing. My advice to you is do more chipping than analyzing. Because your brain, believe it or not, takes over a lot of the analyzing for you. It does take over a lot of the decision making for you. You know, there's a feedback loop in your brain so you can make adjustments and not let it make a decision sometimes. But the subconscious will make decisions for you. You just gotta keep an eye out. It's not reliable in many cases. Especially if you've got a distractible brain. My mindset is just opportunistic. I don't set up specific areas in most cases. I just eliminate the weak areas. I keep it as simple as I can. Eliminate the weak areas and let it naturally just show me where the strong areas are after I knock off all the weak areas and then take opportunistic hits to make the shape that I'm looking for. You know, I'm heading toward the triangle shape. I'm being a little bit strategic because I don't want to lose too much width in the process of making a triangular thing. Because having width gives me options. You know, I'm not making a triangular first and then thinning it. I'm thinning it and doing the triangulation at the same time. I try to do that if I can. in all cases. You know, try to do more than one thing at once. It improves the efficiency of your time that you're using. For some reason that tip is not cooperating. It's all right. Just gotta keep driving more flakes and see what happens. Oops. You know, this is pretty bad up here. It's getting kind of crunchy. So I don't know. I don't know what to do about that spot there. It's not responding like it should, like I'm thinking it should. It may be just a bunch of incipient cracks. It may be a tough spot. It may be that I'm just not paying enough attention to what I'm doing. I gotta focus more. I don't know. What is focusing? Focusing is not thinking about anything else. If you got stuff going on in the brain other than what you're doing, it interferes sometimes. And any little difference in mindset makes all the difference in Flintknapping. Yeah. Or I shouldn't say mindset. The condition of the mind. Any little deviation in the condition, like your fatigue or your emotions or whatever, will affect the napping. I'm going to make a flat bottom triangle. That's why I'm taking off some material there. I just don't want to. I don't want to take off material where I'm going to regret it. I need room to run flakes. Every time you run a flake, it takes a little bit off the edge. So I don't want to take too much edge off yet. There's still a lot of flakes to remove because it's still thick. I'm going to switch over to a smaller diameter because I can become more accurate with this. You know, as the points get smaller, accuracy is maintained when you get a smaller tool to work the smaller item. Accuracy is, like I said, one of the main things that you have to be concerned about when you're making your decisions. I took the glove off because at this stage the glove can interfere. It can become bulky and you're not feeling exactly what's going on. There is a feedback from the stone to your hand, or resulting from how your hand is actually feeling the stone. There is feedback there that is important in Flintknapping. Gloves on kind of is like earmuffs. Gloves are kind of like earmuffs. You can still hear, but it's a little bit off. And you got to focus a little bit more on what you're doing or what you're listening to. And then when you take the earmuffs off, it's, oh, okay, it's so much better. The same with gloves. It feels a lot better now that I've got the glove off. And I'm using a smaller diameter to get in these areas to hit flakes off without having to worry about hitting the sides of that striking area with the fat flaker. I can get right in there and hit those small platforms on the small workpiece. I shouldn't say platforms. Hit the small striking areas. I'm trying to get used to remembering that the platforms are on the flakes, not really here, because it's too confusing to consider where each platform is. It's just consider the whole area a striking area, because you can hit anywhere. But the best places to hit, you'll know after thousands and thousands of hits, and also by the geometry. You know, the geometry might not be perfect, but after thousands and thousands of hits, you can say to yourself, well, the geometry is not perfect, but I can still get a good flake from that spot. Because I've done it before. And yeah, I've got to take a break once in a while and not say anything so I can take a flake off without feeling like there's interference. See, that cortex right there is bugging me. I've got to eliminate it. Yeah. Can't leave it on there, but it's going to make my point more narrow. Yeah, it's okay, I guess. Let's see, 22 minutes. I don't know if I can finish in 8 minutes. It's a tough spot right there. See, that's what it's supposed to do. See, does that look like pressure flakes? It does to me. And yes, you can make pressure flakes just like that. Okay. This stuff is tougher than I thought it was going to be at this stage. I have to hit it really, really hard. I'm just looking for opportunities. That was lucky. I didn't expect it to do that. So yeah, you can get lucky once in a while with the flakes. Doesn't mean it's intentional. Sometimes the flake does match your intention, but it's rare. The better you get at doing this, then the flakes going somewhere where you don't expect becomes less common, yes. It still happens, though. It looks like it's getting symmetrical, and I'm losing that cortex, which is good. Now, how thick were these? I don't know. I'm going to assume that they were not that thick. What is that thick? Ugly thick. I'm assuming they were not ugly thick. It's subjective, I know. I don't know how thin these were. I got very few side views on these barbs and tangs. Some of my strikes are on places that are not so great. Just opportunistically hitting it. I do need to go. I need to make one more thinning pass. I think I can go thinner. The thinner I make the base, the better. For the notching. Yeah. It's risky though. It could dive and split. Yeah. It could do a reverse hinge. But at this size, the chances are not as great as the chances with the larger points. Okay, time for the file. It's getting to where my variability is being restrained quite a bit. There's not much variability. It doesn't forgive you very much at this thinness. So filing makes it more precise. And it gives you better contact with the stone. And I wait till the final stages because I pace myself. I don't run the whole race like I do the home stretch. You don't do that in races. You don't do that in Flintknapping. Because you will not win. Who am I competing against? Competing against myself. Yeah. I don't want to get slower and slower at doing this. Although sometimes it feels that way. I want to get better and better, faster and faster, and more efficient over time. Seems like I go backwards sometimes because I'm trying to learn a new point style, or I'm trying to adjust to what other people want to see. They don't want to see someone all spastic doing it. They want to see nice and methodical and very well planned and blah, blah, blah. So it takes a little bit of time to get used to it, and there's failures involved and aggravations. Everything that goes along with learning something new. So the mindset isn't that complicated, because how can it be really complicated if I can talk at the same time? Especially with me. It's not that complicated. But it can be if you think about it too much. I think a lot of people just think about it too much. And they keep asking me, can you explain it a little bit better? Just explain it a little bit better, a little bit. Not too much, just so I don't go nuts. Because I'm going nuts. Yeah, I know, you're already going nuts. But I'll explain it anyway. I'll try. Try to do it like you think you need me to do it. Okay, so I'm starting the notches. I think I can do this soon. It's 30 minutes, but I'm going to try to finish it quickly. The barbs, the notches in the base don't need to be that deep. I think Mike made this for me. Mike Mason? Yes or no? The finish is coming off. Sorry about that. I'm abusing it, but because I have it rattling around in the toolbox. Okay, not my fault. Yeah. Okay. And I call this just crunching it in. That's what I call this. Let's see if I can crunch it in without making a mistake. This is actually developing a burr. I didn't file it down since the last time I used it. What's a burr, man? Don't worry about it. Just file it down. Keep it thin. The steel curls over and makes a whatchamacallit on the end. How do I know how much pressure to use? I don't know exactly. I'm just going by thousands and thousands of notches that I've done before. Trying to remember if the stems are pointed flat or rounded. Answer is probably yes. Many variations. What did they use back in the day instead of steel? They used something hard. I think a lot of these were made during the Bronze Age, so they used probably a piece of bronze. But before that, you can do shallow notches with antler. You can do this with antler. It's just when you get deeper than that is when you get the problems. And yeah, you can overthink the notching too. So don't overthink the notching. It's just crunching it in. And if you stall it, oh well, you stalled it. That's it. Don't try to fix it. Unless you got a file, you can file it and then re-chip it. Yeah. So we got to get rid of the file marks or it's going to look stupid. So yeah, nice pop outs is what you need. And it's good. I'm going to call it good right there. and then I'll sharpen it. Yes, yes. Can we see? No, I think maybe some of these had serrations. I don't know. Right now I'm going to pick on the edge and then I'll grind it and then I'll sharpen. But I'm going to pick off the fat spots along the edge. As I'm picking the whole edge, I'm going to push more pressure on the fat spots. Not too much inward pressure. You run into problems with too much inward pressure, because you can create step fractures and look ugly. This is really fat on this side, so I am pushing inward. Get rid of some of that fatness. Now, if you set up the surface nice and smooth on these, you can run some parallel flakes. But I'm not gonna. So I got rid of most of the fat spots. I could call it good right there. But I still see some fat spots. How about if I just dull it with the flaker so I don't have to grind it, and then hit those fat spots and thick spots. The edges do not crush on this stuff easily. It holds up really well. I was thinking I could just brush it with the flaker, but no, I'm going to need to file it. Yeah. And do a proper sharpening pass. So 38 minutes. That's okay. I want to try to keep these segments down to 30 minutes again, like I used to do. People seem to like that more than they like the longer videos. Okay. I've learned to hold it like this and push mainly downward on the tips, because if I don't, I tend to step fracture the tips. I still do it, but it's not as bad. Okay, let's see. I'm not able to see. I think the light's too far away. I don't know how to get it closer. Maybe just move closer to the light. Yeah, that would help. Okay. I think these things had straight sides. So I'm pushing inward to get the edge thinned down. When you push inward, it scoops out little bulbs of pressure that help thin the edge. Not like that. Let's do the other side. And these were not persnickety for the most part. If I remember, these barbed and tangs are not persnickety points. So it's okay if they look all jaggedy. Right? Right. Yes, I can do it. I was hoping I could just dull it with the flaker and not having to get the file out. I guess it's one good advantage of having a tough material is that the edges don't crush a lot. Not all tough materials are like that though. Some of the tough materials will crush a lot, which is aggravating. Yep, this is really good. There's some step fracturing there that I should probably remove. Let me see. Pick it. It's not pickable. It's too tough. I'm gonna have to prepare an edge. Oh no. I might be able to pressure flake that out of there. And there's another spot up here I got a pressure flake. Kind of a big flake. So I'll do that next. And yeah, I could probably ground too much area on that one. Oh, did it do it? It felt like it released too fast. It kind of did it. I pushed through it. Yeah, that's good enough. Don't need to be too persnickety. There's a fat spot right there. Right here. No. No. Yeah, that did it. Come on. Just a little bit. Can't see. No. Yes. Yeah. See, I wanted to get that tapered down. It's tapered. Nice. Nice and tapered. Yeah. The sides are straight on these, right? This side, the sides of this going to be a little bit arched. Oops. Now it's just a matter of getting rid of the dull spots. I think I see a few dull spots, but I don't want to be too flakery with it, and I need to wrap this up. Yeah, so there you go. It's good enough. They did various treatments on the bottoms of the barbs and stuff sometimes. What if we do this? Kind of angle them upward a little bit. I hope you can see because I'm having trouble seeing. All right, so I'm just picking at it at this stage. Yeah. I've seen a lot of these with straight sides. But I also have seen them with arched or convex or excurvate sides. See, I'm getting step fracturing right there too. Here and here, they're both step fracturing right there on that side. Anyways, this is not bad material as long as there's no concrete. Yeah. I gotta make sure I don't dull the edges. I'm trying to sharpen. Yes? Okay, that's fine. Alright, so that is it. I don't know what's wrong with the light. It's a barbed and tanged. Can I make the notches deeper? Yeah. There's some nice thin pop outs at the bottom. I could make the notches slightly deeper, but they would look stalled. I don't know if they're supposed to look stalled on these or not. Sometimes on some artifacts, the bottoms of the notches are stalled on the real ones. Sometimes they're not. And I'm not sure if I did the base correctly. It might match one of the types. Yeah. Is it translucent? Kind of, sort of. Yeah, it's a tough material. It'll make a nice tough arrowhead. Yeah. Okay. Just need a good picture and then we're done. It's harder than I thought to get these segments down to 30 minutes. I gotta work faster, which kind of defeats the purpose, but I think I can learn to work faster. But I can't learn to work too much faster. I still gotta do the Cody points. Okay. Still gonna finish out my work on the Cody points. Yeah. Okay, there you go. That's it.